Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hotels in Sabre Red 360. We are going to begin the webinar. And before we do so, a couple of things, important information for you to take into consideration. We have two presenters in this webinar today. First, Kelly will be doing a presentation. Kelly Mercier is from the sales strategy. It's a sales strategy from the LCS team. And Alice Madsen will be doing a demo to show you how to book hotels and show properties. So we have two panelists also, Sebastian Prati and Javier Chinis. They're both from the LCS team. So before we begin, please consider that we have 90 minutes. The webinar will be divided in a presentation, a demo, and then we have a Q&A at the end of the meeting. We have asked you to send your questions prior to the webinar, so we have a lot of interesting questions that we're going over today. Please keep your lines muted so we can have this webinar in the best shape possible. We'll be recording this webinar so you will be able to access afterwards. As always, your feedback is very important. So after this webinar, we'll be sending you a link to complete a survey, and we really appreciate if you could do so. Afterwards, we'll be sharing with you an exclusive content upon completion of this feedback survey. So please complete it and helping us to help you to deliver a better service. So now we'll begin with Kelly, if you want to take over the presentation.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Jimena.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's kick it off by reviewing what our agenda will be today. So first, we want to talk about what is CSL and why is this the right solution for your agencies. Then, as Jimena mentioned, we will have a live demo and a Q&A section. And what we want to try and accomplish today is is two main objectives. Why is it a good idea to book hotels if you're not doing so? And why is it important to increment the bookings if you are already having some sort of hotel bookings? And why do so through Sabre? So to kick it off, let's look at a quick overview on what CSL is and what benefits it provides, so that we can wrap it up in a couple of minutes. So in order to do so, it is important to highlight new industry challenges and trends that have developed over the past couple of years. A lot of them have been driven by the pandemic we recently faced. So one of the new trends is what we call revenge travel. This is specifically applicable to leisure travels, where that someday became this year. So now more people than ever are saying yes to their vacation and no longer putting those dream destinations on hold, and instead they're booking vacations ahead of other priorities. Another trend that comes with it is they're now open to book now and pay later models, pay at the property versus a prepay model, which is what we've seen more traditionally as behavior in the last years. Another trend is the digital nomad. So we're working from home expanding, as we all know. It is very important and applicable to both leisure and corporate travels to have a strong Wi-Fi connection, phone signal, and even amenities like co-working and meeting spaces that ensure that comfort and connectivity. These travelers take longer trips and also spend more money in their destinations, according to recent studies. So in turn, hotels are investing in these type of amenities to drive that revenue, that extra revenue. But there's also new expectations. So safety and comfort are top of the list, but also we've seen an increase in sustainability importance. And this is beyond carbon emissions. This is travelers wanting to see an impact in where they travel, in social activities, in how water is used, etc. And with this return to travel and these new industry challenges, new industry trends have also emerged. To start, people are equally planning and booking travel. So travel now requires a lot of flexibility, from booking just a couple of hours before they reach the hotel 2 months in advance. This means that agents need to be able to find the right place at the right price and available at any given moment. The industry has also being faced with a need for new recruits. As we know, a lot of people left the industry, and so now we have a mix of very seasoned agents and new agents to the industry. What agencies are facing is they need employees to be able to be brought up to speed fast and be able to start processing those bookings and those requests in a record time. And then that's also mixed with that demand for more personalization. So travelers not only want to be able to book a property, but they want it in the right location with certain amenities at a good price point for what they determine is a good price point. And they're actually willing to pay more to get exactly what they want. So they also demand a service level from their travel consultants, kind of like that they know you customer to accommodate their requests. And so with this requirement for personalized offers, what agencies' goal should be is to make the happy traveler, because happy travelers make for loyal customers. And providing that right lodging option for travelers is what CSL's value proposition is, where we think we can help you. So we have a mix of providing the right property with the right rating at the right location, with the amenities that the traveler is looking for and at the right price. It means being able to provide the product and the service that the traveler wants, and also combined with the best experience for the traveler. And like in any industry, like I just mentioned, the better we serve our customers or travelers in our case, the more it is likely that they'll come back for more. So to accomplish this, content is now more than ever relevant to agencies. And by right content, I'm referring to individual and chain properties in every market, that adaptable technology that allows you to compare between properties, between rates, between sources, products, and amenities, and then translating that in enhancing the consultant's value and expertise. Content services for lodging, also known as CSL, enables that open market free of barriers in which multiple sources of lodging supply may be integrated and displayed to be sold via our APIs, Sabre 360, or even corporate tools like GetThere. So what we do is in CSL, we combine that traditional GDS content with aggregator content. In the moment, we have Booking.com, Beds Online, Expedia, and then some local offerings like CMNet for Brazil. And this delivers over 1 million unique property options into one single display. So instead of having to go to multiple screens to look for these different offerings and trying to compare what they mean in different places, we merge it all together and we display it in one single screen through SR360. We understand that you as an agent and agencies require multiple rate and inventory options. So we're trying to eliminate that need to do various searches and make your search more efficient, as well as your booking process. It's important to know that CSL is source agnostic, which means that it is up to you and your agency to control which content you want to view and which ones you want to incorporate into your booking process. So as I mentioned, CSL provides access to over 1 million unique properties worldwide. And let me also mention real quick that any booking that you make through CSL, either traditional GDS content or any of our aggregators that are listed to the right, those are active segments. So you can earn, your agency can earn booking credit for every segment. And with all our offering of GDS rates plus our aggregator rates, we not only achieve over 90% of the world's lodging content access, but we also now are able to access different rate types. So we still have our traditional commissionable rates, but with Beds Online, for example, we also offer net rates. With net rates, your agency can independently mark up those property rates, allowing you for a better shopping decision and more flexibility during that sales process, in addition to instant revenue realization. And so how do we make this easy? So like I mentioned briefly, distribution in hotels is very fragmented. And what that means is that the content for hotels, like amenities and what the inclusions of the room are, etc., flows through many systems before it's displayed to the buyer. The problem is that with different technology, it leads to a situation where the same property and the same room rate is described differently depending on which channel you're using. And CSL and Sabre, what we did is create an algorithm to show that same physical property only once in your shopping response and kind of merge all that data together to make it easier to be displayed to you. And this ensures that both the room and rate level attributes like room type, bedtime, inclusions, amenities, meal plans are displayed in a normalized and structured way. It makes it easier for you to understand what is included or not included in the rate, being able to compare contents and rates across different channels, easy to filter, see what rates that is the most convenient for you, and at the end, it just becomes into a more efficient shopping experience. So why is CSL the right solution for you? And we wanted to touch on two scenarios. If you're not booking hotels today at all, then in all honesty, you should. There's a higher commission percentage for hotels than there is in air. It provides a better service to your customers. You can easily, through SR360, add those hotel segments to your existing air bookings. It's a platform you already know, and we will show you how easy it is to add that hotel booking. And it turns out to be an additional income to your agency because you increase that hotel attachment rate, you reduce the leakage, and then those hotel bookings that are being done somewhere else is something that you can benefit and profit for. Now, if you're already booking hotels, but you do so outside of Sabre, we would want to invite you to consider doing so through Sabre. One, because as I mentioned, we have a very big access to the world's lodging options through our traditional GDS rates and aggregators. Sabre Red 360 can be accessed in the traditional desktop version, but also we have a web version, so there's no download required. It's very easy to access. There's no complicated software to deal with. All these bookings are active segments, so they're bookable and serviceable like any traditional GDS rate in that same solution. And it's easy to learn because you can use your scripted commands if you're a seasoned travel agent and you feel more comfortable that way. But we also have an intuitive graphical interface to help you bring yourself up to speed if you're not so comfortable with commands. It's a very easy way to book and search for hotels. So now that we've looked at overall what CSL is in a conceptual base, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Alice, who will show us in a live demo what this looks like.
Sure. Thank you, Kelly. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen here. I will be showing you a demo with the highlights and main functionalities of CSL. I'm also going to keep my camera turned off during the demo to avoid any connectivity issues. And then we can get started. So I believe you can see my screen. Great. So as a recap to start the demo, in CSL, agencies have the possibility to access not only Sabre rates, but also rates coming from the aggregators. So again, Booking.com, Beds Online, and Expedia. Depending on what the agency has set up, and again, there is a registration process for that, you'll see rates from those different sources in a single platform for booking or comparison purposes. So here I have Sabre and I have Sabre Web, and I'm using Sabre Web for this demo. And to access CSL content for this demo, I'm going to click the Command Helper tab and access the Hotel tab here. We will be working with the graphical feature in this demo as CSL's workflow is mainly graphical. Some of the hotel availability, hotel description, and selling formats still work, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. I'll show you where to find those supported commands. However, you will see how intuitive and user-friendly the graphical workflow is. It's really easy to use, easy to train for new hires at agencies, and you will have different features, resources to search, filter, and compare the different rates and find the right property for your clients. So let's get started. I am clicking the Hotel tab, and as you can see here, we have 3 types of search. So we will see the first one is hotel search. It is the type of search where we are able to specify a location. So an airport, a city, or a point of interest. I could use Paris. I could use the Eiffel Tower, a specific museum, for example. This is the first type of search. Then we have the address search. And with this second option, I can search for hotels in a street address or specifying the zip code and the country. Okay. And this is the second type of search. And for the third one, we have hotel property search. For this type of search, we can use the property ID or the property number of a hotel. So each hotel has a property number to identify it. And this works really well, for example, for corporate travel. So if you book a specific hotel frequently and you don't want to see availability, you want to go straight to the room rates for this hotel, you can process your search through hotel property search. I'm going to be showing you examples of the three types of search, but first of all, let's do the first example with hotel search. So as I mentioned, we can use an airport, a city, or a point of interest. Something that's really interesting here is that I can use codes or the name of the airport or city. This is a graphical feature, so I could type New York. I could type the code NYC, I could type JFK, or as I said, a point of interest. So Empire State Building, Eiffel Tower, a museum, we can use that for the search as well. So in this example, let's do NYC. I will specify right here the check-in date. And here, as you can see, I can click this and use my keyboard to type, for example, 03 April for April 3rd, or I can also use the calendar feature. This is really interesting because you obviously can display the days of the week too, so you have a better view. We can select it from the calendar. So let's do April 3rd for the check-in. Here we can specify the number of nights or the checkout date. This is interactive, so if I update the number of nights, the checkout date is obviously going to be updated too. So for example, 7 nights, and here we have the checkout date as April 10th. I could click the calendar and display it and select it from here too. Here we have guests, so I can select this and adjust the number of guests. For this search, let's keep it simple, so let's do 1 adult for this first example. And in the second line here, as you can see, we have 3 different options. So we have chain code, property name, and client IDs. For the chain code, if the client has a preference, I can use this as a qualifier, for example, to specify a hotel chain. So for example, I could do Sheraton Hotels, I could do Hilton. I can type the chain codes, Radisson, Marriott, and I'll see hotel properties according to what I'm adding here. I could also use the property name if I know the name of the hotel. And for this option right here, if the agency has contract or negotiated rates with the hotel, I can add my client IDs here so that the system will filter for those specific rates. So I can include those client IDs, or I can tell the system that I only want to see rates that have those client IDs. Right here, I have the distance, so I can specify a maximum distance from the location in miles or kilometers. And I also have a list of advanced qualifiers. So when I click this right here, I'll display a list of advanced qualifiers. I can just scroll up and down to see the complete list. And this is where we can specify, for example, amenities. This is the first option that we have. When we check this little box and we click it outside, we can click outside of the list, we can just access amenities and filter for specific amenities. I want 24-hour room service, accessible parking. I can scroll down. I can also search for specific words according to the amenities that I need. If I don't want to see it, I can just uncheck it. Okay. And here we have other qualifiers, for example, currency, frequent guest number, property types, and rate category. You don't need to know the codes. You can just access a list and select the rate category from here. So government, negotiated rates. Okay. We also have rate source. This one is really interesting. So aggregator content is optional for agencies, and if you have aggregator content activated, but for a specific search, you want Sabre rates only, for example, you could specify the rate source. Okay, so for example, let's just click right here, and I'm able to specify if I only want to see Sabre rates, I'll check Sabre or booking. So I can specify the rate source here too. I also have refundable only and Sabre rating. I only want to see 4 to 5 stars hotels. And those are the advanced qualifiers that we have here. For this search, let's do New York City, 7 nights in April, and with some chain codes. And once we have all of the filters and qualifiers, we can just click Shop Hotels. And here we have our results displayed. So our results are listed here. We can scroll up and down to go through the list. And as you can see, each option has an overview with like basic information of each hotel. So for each option, you will see in this column right here, the hotel logo, the name of the hotel here. You'll also see the chain code, the property IDs. Okay, remember that I mentioned that you can search for property ID using the third type of search. Those are the property IDs. You also have the address of the hotel. In this column right here, you are going to see the distance from the location specified in the search. So 20 miles, 15 miles, 13 miles. Right here, you will see an overview of the amenities of this hotel. So as you can see, you have different symbols and some are grayed out, some are not. You can just hover over each symbol to see more details. So no free Wi-Fi in rooms, you have a health club, indoor pool, and you can just see this overviews of the amenities. I'm going to show you in a bit how to check the complete list of amenities because this isn't just an overview, okay? And right here in this column, we will see the Sabre rating. So 4 stars, 3 stars, 3.5. This is the Sabre rating column. And the last one is the average nightly rate. So here we have the rate. And up here, we'll see the rate source. So this PCC has aggregator content. You can see Beds Online, you can see Expedia, you can see Sabre. Up here, you'll see the rate source. Something that is really interesting here and good for you to know, see that some rates have this little triangle after the average nightly rate and some don't have that. That means that there's more than one rate source for this hotel property. So when I click the little triangle, I can see that for this one, we have Expedia and Booking.com. For this one right here, we have, for example, Expedia, Booking.com, and Sabre. So this is the indicator that there's more than one rate source for this hotel. Okay. Then the last option that we have here is a down arrow. Okay, and that means in Sabre that we can expand a result, right? So we can click it and we will see more information. But before we go through all of that, I want to show you those 3 features that we have here from the results display that are super useful for you. So first of all, we have an interactive map. When we click the map, we can display it, we can zoom in and zoom out by clicking those symbols or scrolling up and down. And this map is going to interact with the list here. So if I find a rate here and I like the location. I want to see what hotel this one is. I can just click the rate and it interacts with the list. Same thing happens if I see one here and I want to see the location of it. I can just click in the list. Okay, so this is the interactive map. You can also change the type of map here, and to close it, you would just click Close Map. So this would be the first feature that you have up there. And the second one, as you can see, is filter. So you can filter your results. You have the results displayed here, and you want to filter them. We can click this right here, and you'll see that you can filter by hotel chain, rate source, amenities. You can also adjust the nightly room rate, distance, and Sabre rating. So let's say that for those results, I want to filter and I don't want to see those hotel chains. I can just uncheck them and apply. Or I only want to see Sabre rates. I can just uncheck the aggregators and apply. I can also filter by different amenities. This is super useful to adjust the nightly room rate. So I have a maximum or a minimum or of a nightly room rate, the distance to from the location, and the Sabre rating. Once I have the filters here, I can just click apply and the system will update my results according to what I added there. I can also reset my filters from here if I want to see the original results. And the third option here is sort. I can sort my results according to the priorities that I have for this client. For example, I want to sort those results by distance and then by price. Distance is more important to me in this for this example than the price. So I can sort by distance, then by price, and click apply. The system will reorder my results. So as you can see, we have 19, 22, 34. I have my results reordered. If I want to reset the filters to see the original results, I can just click reset all and apply. Okay. So after going through the results list, we went through the different features, you've checked the map, you've filtered, and you found a property, you want to see more details about this property. We can just click the down arrow here and expand this option. So as you can see, we have chain code here in this line. We have the chain code. We have the property IDs. So we have global ID and Sabre ID, phone number, fax. And down here, we have three really useful things. So first of all, we have the property information. You can click this to check property details. And in a separate screen, you can just scroll down to read property information. You can also search for specific words or click a specific category. For example, I want to see the cancellation policy. So I can click from those categories here, cancel policy, and the system will take me there. Or for example, now I want to see facilities. I want to see check-in and check-out. Okay, so I can just check property details from here. I can close this window and I can check photos and videos too. Photos and videos loaded by the hotel. We can close that and then we'll have a complete list of amenities. So remember that I said that here we have an overview of the amenities. If you want to see a complete list, you would just expand the results and click amenities. Here you have a complete list of all of the amenities of this hotel property. Okay, so now I checked the property details. I saw the photos and videos and the amenities, and I want to see the rates because I can just see the average nightly rate here. I can see that we have Expedia and Booking. I go through the results and I want to view the rates. I can click View Rates. And here I have my room rates list. I will still have the possibility to click and see photos and videos and property information up here. I have two features up here for the currency and filters. So I can decide if I want to see those rates in supplier currency or in my local currency. And I can also filter the results. Okay, again, I can filter those rates by rate source, bed type, cancellation policy, and commissionable rates. So for the cancellation policy, in this case, we don't see non-refundable. We cannot play around with that because for this example, we only have refundable rates. Okay, but for the next example, I do have options to show you with filters. So for this one, how are we going to read those results? So again, we can scroll up and down, and each result is going to show a description of the rate here. So we're going to have the bed type, a description of the rate. We will see the guarantee too. You can hover over text to see more information, and you will see right here the cancellation policy. So if it's refundable or non-refundable. You can also see, for example, the penalty for each option. In this column right here, we're going to see the average nightly rate for each option. And see how those options have a little asterisk after the average nightly rate, and some don't have this little asterisk. This is an indicator that there is a rate change during the stay. Okay, so you can just hover over the average nightly rate to see more information, but that's the indicator that there is a rate change. And for this last column right here, we're going to see the approximate total, the rate source, and also this green symbol right here is the commissionable indicator. So if it is gray, that means that the rate is not commissionable. If it shows like this in green, that means that it is commissionable, and you can just click this to check more information. Okay, so you will go through the results, you will choose an option, and you can click the down arrow again to see more information about this specific rate. So here I have the rate details. I will see the room description, the bed type, cancellation policy. Here it says refundable, cancellation deadline, the guarantee. In this case, it's a credit card accepted as a guarantee, and additional details. You can hover over text, but I would recommend you to click this icon right here or rate details so that you can see this information in a separate screen. So you will have the description, you'll see the rate source again, guarantee, everything that you can see here, but in a separate screen with a better view. Right here, you have the option to book, or you can just close this and book from here too. Now, when I click book, you'll see how the system lets me know that I don't have a traveler and an agency address yet. Those fields are required, right? If I want to book a hotel segment, I need to have a traveler and an agency address. And Sabre Red 360 will read that I don't have this information, will let me know and give me the option to add to PNR using the graphical feature. So when I click add to PNR, I'll be able to add the traveler and add the address through this screen right here. When I add to PNR, I can click book and the hotel segment will be booked. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to complete this screen. I'll show you what it looks like when you already have information, for example, copied from a profile. So I will just close this screen. I'll click the profile tab and I will search for my profile. My profile name is Alice Madsen. I will just search for this profile. And this profile already has a traveler. I have an agency address. I have a form of payment, and I'm just going to copy this to the PNR. Information was copied. I do have a traveler and an agency address, so I'll be able to book. Do I need to process my search all over again from scratch by clicking hotel and doing everything? I don't, because in Sabre Red 360, we have this feature right here. That is the command history. This is super useful, and it will store formats and also graphical screens. So when we click the last action that I took to view rates, I can just click this and execute. And I'm back here in the rates for this hotel. So now I have a traveler, I have an agency address, I can just click the rate and book. When I click book, we'll get to this last screen right here to add guest details, payment details, cardholder details, and additional requests if applicable. In my case, I already had the form of payment in the profile, the guest details, so I'm just going to go ahead and click book. And here we have a confirmation. So hotel reservation confirmation, room reserved, my status code HK, and now I can just display PNR. Okay, I can check my itinerary here. I could also display the PNR by doing display A. I have all of my fields, but the received from, so I can just add the received from and end my PNR to generate a record locator. So I can do that graphically by clicking the trip summary, add to PNR, or I can click manual command and I can just receive and end. And here I have my PNR. So this is the classic view of the PNR. I have my hotel segment here. If I want to display it graphically, I can click the trip summary. I will have my traveler and my hotel segment. This is really useful too. You can click those three dots after the segment and you'll be able to modify or delete the segment to cancel or modify. And you can click the locator right here to display the graphical PNR. You can see the itinerary here in the itinerary tab and expand it to see more details. You can also delete or modify from here. And something really important is under traveler information, you will see in the OSI field, this is super important, for confirmation and cancellation number. So when you cancel a hotel segment, it's really important to make sure that you have a cancellation number, and it will show under the OSI field. Display P3 or in the graphical PNR, you'll be able to see it from here. Okay, so this is our first example. We've shopped and booked a hotel segment. I showed you how to copy the profile information to add the traveler and agency address in this example. But again, you could just add it graphically by clicking Add to PNR. And this was the first demo of the first search type, right? So now let me just ignore this PNR and clear my screen. And now I want to show you under command helper again, hotel, the other types of search. So the second one is the address search. I'll click this, and again, I'll have the option to search for hotels specifying a street address, a zip code. So for example, I have this zip code here, which is in the US. I have to specify the country. I'll add the check-in and check-out dates. For example, April 10th till April 18th. Again, I have the guests. I have the option to specify the chain code, property name, client IDs, the distance in miles or kilometers, and also the advanced qualifiers list here. Okay, so amenities, refundable only, Sabre rating, rate source. When I have everything I need, I can just click Shop Hotels. And this is the results list. So as you can see, the results display is the exact same when it comes to structure, right? You will see the different rate sources. Okay, you'll be able to use the different features to display information about each hotel. The only thing that changed was the search type. Instead of using a city, an airport, or a point of interest, I used a zip code, or you could also use a street address. Okay, from now, the workflow would be the exact same. So you just select one option, expand it. You can check property information. You can check the photos and videos, the amenities, okay, view rates, and then book. So this is the second type of search. Now, the last one, the hotel property search, is the one that we're going to use to search for hotels, to search for a specific property ID, right? So remember that we can find the property ID right here. If we book a hotel frequently, we already know the property ID of this hotel, and we don't want to see the results for availability for all hotels in a location. We want to see the room rates for this specific hotel. I'm adding the property number here. So mine in this case is this one, 58985. I can just specify the check-in and check-out dates. Guest client IDs, again, remember for contract or negotiated rates if the agency has those rates with hotels. Rates category, currency, rate source, frequent guest number, and refundable only. Once we have everything we need, we can just click Shop Hotels. And as you can see, my results are room rates for this specific Radisson hotel. Okay, take a look at the difference. Here we see a list of hotels, and here it's for a specific hotel. So from here, the workflow would be clicking the option, checking rate details, and booking. So those would be the three types of search. Under hotel, hotel search, address search, and hotel property search. Now, for the next example, what I want to show you is what it looks like when you have a PNR, how the system works when you have a PNR that already has air segment. Okay, so let's do the following. I'm going to clear my screen. And let me display this PNR right here. So I have one traveler. I have two flights, Miami, London. This is a round trip. And my client called me and she wants to book a hotel in London now. So what I'm going to do to book a hotel graphically, I could click the Command Helper tab, go to the Hotel tab, and process the search. But something that's really interesting here in CSL is that you can click the trip summary. And under Air, where you'll have your segments, you can click the three dots and select Add Hotel. When you do this, see how the Hotel Search tab will be completed with the location, check-in, and check-out according to what I have in my itinerary. This is super useful. So from the trip summary, clicking the three dots and adding the hotel. Now I can just process my search, add different qualifiers. So let's do, for example, a chain code, a property name, client ID, just like before, just like I showed you, and then shop hotels. We will see my options here. Again, I can use the different features. And let's choose this one to book. So I can view rates. And here we have our room rates. So again, remember, I can check the currency here. I can change the currency, whether this is supplier or local. So this hotel is in London. And for some options, I'll see it in supplier currency. And I can use the filters. So see how here, as I have non-refundable and refundable rates for this property, I can just uncheck non-refundable because I only want to see refundable rates. Or let's say that I only want to see Sabre rates. So I can just filter and apply those filters. I could also choose a bed type if I wanted to. Now, my results were filtered and updated. I can choose one option. Remember that the little asterisk will mean that there is a rate change, and the green icon will mean that it's a commissionable rate. I will click this to expand. I'll check again, room description, cancellation policy, guarantee, additional details. I can click the rate details to see it in a separate screen, and I can click book from here or from here. And as I already had a PNR with a traveler and an agency address, it takes me right to the last screen to add guest details, payment details, card holder details. I already had the form of payment in my PNR, so I can just click book. Hotel room reserved. I can display my PNR, and I'll see my itinerary here with the flight segments and the hotel here in the destination. I can also go to home and I'll see a summary. I can copy this, print as a PDF if I want to save it. And remember to always check the OSI field under traveler information for confirmation and cancellation numbers. Now I can end and retrieve. I could do Echo Romeo, or I could use the graphical trip summary too. So let's receive and end. And this would be the classic view of my PNR with air and hotel segments. Okay, remember that to manage your hotel segments, to cancel or delete, you could go to the trip summary, click the 3 dots here, and change dates or delete segment. Or you could also go to the graphical PNR, go to the itinerary tab, and by selecting the hotel segment, you can modify and delete. Okay. So that was our last example of the demo. We had a demo of the 3 different types of search, and also with a hotel that, a PNR that already had air segments, which was this last example. And now what I want to do is show you the list of supported commands for CSL. So remember that I mentioned that the workflow is mainly graphical, but for those who are used to formats, we do have a list, and I'll share that with you now, of the supported commands in CSL. So you could do 2 things. So let me just ignore this PNR here and clear my screen to show you a little bit better here. You could do the format HOT help, and that will show you a list of the hotel availability formats that you can use in CSL. You also have the option to do HOD help for hotel description, okay, which would be the property number search too. And this would be like a list that, well, you can just process a format and you'll see that in Sabre. But you can also find more information in Finder. Okay, so through Sabre Central, you'll be able to access Finder, or also in Sabre, you can just click Finder from the helper apps. If you search for CSL commands and hit enter, the first option that you'll see is this article called Hotel Commands Supported with Content Services for Lodging in Sabre Red 360. So I can just display it. And this is a complete list of all formats supported in CSL. Okay, so this is super useful too to check in case you want to know what formats you can use. And as we're talking about Finder, let me go back and I'll show you. If you search for CSL, you'll be able to find different references, different articles here. For example, how to get started with CSL, how to shop. Okay, so how to book or modify content. So you'll find really useful articles in here just by searching CSL in Finder. Okay, and well, the last thing before we open the Q&A, I wanted to talk a little bit about training. So in case you're looking for CSL training, here in Sabre Central, in the training tab, if you click this, you'll be able to access our training platform. Okay, and from here, you're able to access self-paced training or instructor-led trainings for CSL. So you have this option. You can check our calendar for instructor-led trainings or also self-paced trainings. And something really interesting that we're going to have, and I believe the first session for North America is going to be April 10th. I believe it's at 12:30 Central Time. We're going to have free of charge instructor-led training. So this is really useful for you to know. In case you're looking for training, we're going to have this session. You can just check our calendars and it will be there. So you can have more information about CSL. You'll see in the class specifics about aggregators and more.